Welcome to the FNO InsureTech podcast, a place where movers and shakers from all points within the insurance ecosystem gather and discuss all things InsureTech. We talk about how technology and innovation are affecting and driving change in the industry. Here are your hosts, Lee Boyd and Rob Beller.
Hey, podcast world, welcome to
Another.
Wow, I don't even have to do this anymore.
Another exciting, thrilling, wonderful. No, that's my word, not yours.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. We can use that. Go on, finish.
I'm out. I did my
three. No, wonderful, terrific, amazing, stupendous, earth-shattering
podcast
episode of
FNO InsureTech with your host, Rob Beller and Lee Boyd. I think I've done that like 7 times.
And I know you're so conscious of that. You're so self-conscious about your standing.
No, I told someone the other day, I said, I do a podcast. He goes, great. I want to listen. I said, awesome. Just know I don't talk much. The other guy talks the majority, and then I just add, different comments. And he goes, yeah, there's a place for that. I said, you're right. There's a place for that. And I've realized that after 183 episodes.
And I might add, who's done most of the talking on this episode? So don't think you talk so little. You talk a lot.
I talked a little more this time.
You're just so insecure.
Well,
about how much you talk. You don't even give yourself credit.
I'm not insecure. I am totally fine with if I can get four questions in, I'm great.
Let's put this to an objective third party. Alicia.
Who? Oh, Alicia.
Alicia Moss, our intrepid producer.
She says, no, I'm not talking.
Is Lee a little insecure? Yes or no?
She's
shaking her head
no.
yes. She says yes, no. Absolutely.
Thank you, Alicia.
Oh, wow. Wow. I don't.
Alicia did a podcast with us. Remember when Alicia did one?
She works with Lee, so that's what it is. Okay. I'll call you later. You'll give me the truth. So, yeah, how did we get on that topic? I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, it was all you.
Because that's not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about your insecurities.
Okay, what do you want to talk about? Some other securities?
NFTs.
Oh, okay.
Do you own an NFT?
No, but my son wants to buy an NFT.
Why?
He wants to buy the monkey. I think there's a monkey that's an NFT. It's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't really understand NFTs.
How about crypto? Do you own any Bitcoin?
I don't. I've read some books. I don't own any, but I know people who do.
Do you?
I do.
What about any of the other cryptocurrencies? You own any of those?
No, but the people I know, they own different ones. They invest a little bit of their paycheck every 2 weeks into these cryptocurrencies, and they just reinvest, just like you do in an IRA or with silver or anything. They just, each week, they do that average investment. Might be up, might be down, but they put $50, $100 in there.
Well, I got some news for you. Ready for this?
I can't wait.
We have with us today the CEO and co-founder of Breach Insurance, who is going to talk with us about insuring crypto.
I mean, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. It's possible through some of these websites where you buy the coins, you buy the currency. I mean, it could get stolen. It could get hacked. And it seems like this company's coming in with a solution to put people's minds at ease.
A incredibly clever, incredibly new, incredibly thoughtful product that's in the market that you really need to hear about. Listen up to a fascinating podcast with Eyhab Aejaz, the co-founder and CEO of Breach. Hey, everybody. We are here in a particularly exciting podcast today because, like every person out there, you've heard the term crypto. You know crypto. You're excited about crypto. And of course, FNO InsureTech, we have all the answers about crypto and insurance.
Yeah.
And so our intrepid producer, Alicia Moss, went out and found us a remarkable and interesting victim to talk all about this interesting intersection of technology and value. And so we have with us today the co-founder and CEO of Breach Insurance, Eyhab Aejaz. How'd I do?
9.5 out of 10. You slipped on the landing a little bit, but
yeah, I was a little hesidant.
You're a little nervous about that one.
If I would have said it with confidence.
You said you got to just say it with confidence.
Anyways, Eyhab is with us today to talk about all things crypto and insurance, and most especially about Breach. And welcome to our show. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Definitely thank you for having me in.
Sure. I hope I got the point across that we're really excited about it.
You set the bar really high. So
yeah, I know. I know. People are already
no pressure.
People are already hitting the 15-second forward button. Right. So first we want to hear a little bit about Breach.
Right.
Of course, we want to talk about crypto because, of course, there's two hosts on this show, one who has a good working knowledge of it and one who still doesn't understand it at all. And so we'll get to that. Let's start by talking about the company that you co-founded, Breach. So give us a minute on that.
Yeah, would love to. Thank you for asking. Breach Insurance is a traditional InsureTech building regulated, hopefully in the not so distant, actually right now, even rated and reinsurance backed insurance solutions exclusively dedicated for the crypto space. So I'd say there's two primary issues happening in crypto that we're helping combat. One is there's a supply and demand issue as it relates to the need for insurance solutions, yet no active markets actually underwriting in the space because the requisite insurance capacity or the resources from insurers or reinsurers hasn't been put into place. The other is advocacy for the space. So advocacy for the actual risk. Should this risk actually even be insured in the first place? So we're purpose built exclusively for those two reasons. And we were founded in April 2019. Before founding Breach, I spent 7 years at Liberty Mutual, helping build new products, helping them enter new markets, building new tech. So all of that was post business school.
So the second reason that you just gave, that should it even be insured at all, is that because it's so hard to understand and it doesn't physically exist?
Well, it's two things. I mean, the reason why we place an emphasis on the advocacy of it is because, creating capacity and advocating the risk go hand in hand. One doesn't happen without the other. And that's why I really impress upon folks that that's a core value statement mission of Breach, because we have to go out there and advocate it with regulators, with Department of Insurance regulators, advocate it with insurance brokers to better understand the risks, with primary insurers to partner with them, reinsurers to, as we're building our own balance sheet and looking for traditional reinsurance. It's really, really critical. So hopefully that makes sense, but it's really, I feel, we feel as a team that the two really go hand in hand.
So what is a Breach is actually insuring when it comes to crypto? What are you actually insuring?
Our first product is a product called Cryptoshield. It's insuring users of popular crypto exchanges and custodians. So you're buying and you're on-ramping your crypto at these popular exchanges or custodians called Gemini, Coinbase. BitGo is a really popular, notable crypto custodian. And, I think there's a lot of really good work that's gone into buying insurance from these, and sometimes even structuring captive structures where they're self-insuring risk and setting aside capital to insure against something really bad going wrong. But the reality is there is this need for more insurance. And what we've done is created the first retail investor insurance solution that allows users of those exchanges to be the named insured. And we've done that as an MGA, as our first program. And we've partnered with actually Boost Insurance on this first solution.
Wow. Would that be embedded whenever they actually purchase? Or is it
over time? Yes. Yeah. We're trying to get there. Those sales cycles are a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But absolutely. That's the vision, is really making it like check the box kind of thing and embedding the solution. there has been no shortage of press in crypto, liquidity issues, and a lot of chaos that's been taking place. And where unfortunately we were having some traction with some of that embedded is where some of the chaos has happened. And it's an unfortunate thing, but I think it's also a great demonstration to industries that risk management is really important. I think the industry is kind of maturing before our eyes, and we're seeing, how we should be more responsible in certain respects. So we all have a role to play. But I think, in terms of to answer your question, we're being thoughtful on how we distribute, and who we even underwrite, in terms of custodians exchanges.
Well, you're in such a exciting space. Like you said, I mean, not a day goes by that anybody that pays attention to the financial markets at all, there's not a day, there's not an hour that goes by that there's not something about crypto being written in some way, good, bad, and indifferent. Is all of that noise helpful to you?
I'll be honest, and I'll say, before I even get to the noise, I think the ever-changing, constant development nature of the industry is a massive issue with getting insurance capacity and reinsurers and insurers along, because where do you start? You have to have, in order for me to start today, I have to have the working knowledge of the industry for the last 10 years. And it's impossible to just start today and get comfortable with the tomorrow without actually going back in time. And we just benefit from having been here for the last 3 years, and me personally looking at the space for the last 5 years and building along with it, right? Like, things are changing. It went from, traditional exchanges to new age custodians to decentralized exchanges to DeFi to NFTs to all, and every day I'm looking at, insurers are looking up and regulators look up, like, something changed. Like, how can I get comfortable here?
Right.
So that's that one dynamic, but the noise is, I think you kind of build on that. It does absolutely make it complicated. But for us, what I'm really proud of is that we don't let these things distract us. We haven't just blown with the wind and, it's like, oh, well, NFTs are hot. Like, you can pull up articles of, when NFTs were really hot, we're getting interviewed and it's like, oh, so when are you guys going to start working on an NFT solution? And what's the prospect of metaverse insurance? We're researching it. We're creating a thesis on it, but I'd be lying to you if I said that we've dropped everything and
right.
work on this thing today, because distraction, it's noise. And if we did that, I don't think we exist today. I really
great point. I mean, there's so many, we just got a kitten in our house, right? And the kitten will chase anything that distracts it and gets exciting. And you're in a world that's filled with distraction and exciting new possibilities. But there are too many. Yep. Too many. And I just wanted to add that, what a really exciting, wonderful thing to be involved in an industry that's so early, right? And so big and important.
Yeah, it's huge.
And I mean, even people like myself who don't understand it well, fully acknowledge it's here to stay, and it's enormous, and only getting bigger. And so that's very exciting.
It's why I'm working in it. Like, rarely do you get opportunities to make the insurance pie bigger, creating jobs, like the jobs that we created as a company. They don't exist without our company. They
don't exist. Absolutely.
It's the coolest thing that I think anybody. So I'm just incredibly proud of our team to like the people that have come on board, like, just believe in the vision and being part of that vision and executing it. It's just really, really fun. And for me personally, like, I've always just really enjoyed and working in white spaces. At Liberty, I was just really, really fortunate to constantly work on and work in roles that didn't exist before I was in them. And that's just what I've always been attracted to. So I think, like, entrepreneurship has just been a natural extension, evolution of that. But yes, to your point, like, it's super exciting to work on them. When I left Liberty, this was April 2019, we were in the middle of crypto winter. One could argue that we're in the middle of another third crypto winter right now. And people were like, isn't it dead? Like, what are you leaving for? Like, well, what are you going to be insuring? And I had other people that were like, if there's anybody that's going to create, I don't even know what it is. If anybody was going to create insurance solutions for it, it would be you. So it's been really cool to kind of get that like trust and support along the way. And, you know, we're still babies in this thing. We haven't really, in my opinion, just trying to be pragmatic and be as ambitious as possible. I don't think we've accomplished anything yet. I think what we're going to truly accomplish is going to happen over the next 12, 18, 24 months. We're bringing on some really, really important strategic investors that's going to open a lot of eyes for people. And I'm excited. And there's some really important initiatives that I might tease at some point in this podcast.
You mean beside right now?
Besides that, yeah. So it's going to be, there's a couple other things. It's an exciting time to be building in general. I think crypto aside, in technology, like it's the worst time in the world to be raising capital, but because it's hard, because investors are being conservative and they're being very thoughtful in where and how to deploy capital. But if you've got the appetite, man, is it an exhilarating time to be building.
And so whenever you did go out to get capital, or even whenever you went out to find carriers to help underwrite the product, what were those initial conversations like? Were they, yes, we're all in? Or were they like, see you later, you're crazy?
What? Huh?
Or were they like Rob, was like, what's crypto?
Not even, none of that. It was hard. It was truly hard. Like, it was myself and my co-founder, Ian Fraser, who's our CTO. He's a founder. He's founded multiple companies and he's a builder. He's a software engineer, full stack. So he's just used to that, like just, you know, tightening up the belt and just inflicting maximum pain on yourself. Fortunately for me, I had different reasons to have that level of ambition and appetite and hunger for pain. Just because, you know, I'm fortunate to have had a pretty good career. I haven't made millions of dollars, but I've made some pretty good personal decisions, and it was a great time for me to kind of like pause and invest in a time where I didn't think I was losing anything. I was winning regardless of what happened, whether it's because this breach company becomes a massive success, or you know, I worked on a really interesting problem that help the industry along, which I believe both are still the case. But I personally, you know, have just really enjoyed the journey and just entrepreneurship as a whole.
I'm interested in how the volatility of crypto affects your product. It has to, right? I mean, if you're underwriting an asset that is worth $1,000, it's different than an asset that's worth $50,000. And in your world, that can change really fast, right?
I will bring it home for you and make so much sense that you're going to say,
please,
my question. So, you know, we've all seen the cost of lumber explode, right? Does the cost of your insurance policy, of your homeowner's insurance policy, change because the cost of lumber tripled or quadrupled? The reality is that if something were to happen, there's a chance that you were underinsured because the replacement cost of your home changed. And if you barely were insuring enough for the replacement cost of your home, you can be in trouble. And that's basically the dynamic. What we've done is created an insurance policy that is based on the replacement cost of your crypto. So very, very similar to how like jewelry insurance and you know, things that people know, homeowners insurance is kind of priced, where we say that the value of your Bitcoin today is roughly $20,000. You want to insure that one Bitcoin, you buy a $20,000 limit policy. You're insured for 100% value of that. The value of crypto doubles. You now are technically underinsured, but you still have your insurance policy, right? Like you want a coverage for up to $20,000. You have that. Our platform tells you that you're underinsured. You have now 50% coverage or whatnot. So you can go in and actually buy more coverage. You never have to talk to anybody if you don't want to, but you could. You can buy it through your agent. But that's kind of how it works. We don't underwrite our insurance in crypto today because we're not convinced that it's something that customers want yet. And when we do that, we'll also be reserving for it in crypto. So unless you're got the one-to-one thing going, you've got an FX exposure, and that's something that we don't have the maturity or the $100 billion balance sheet that your own insurance companies have. But so we simplified it by underwriting in fiat.
That's a really interesting thing that I hadn't even thought about is that you could underwrite it in like kind. And that's a whole another interesting question. So your platform tells people, hey, today your Bitcoin, for example, is now worth 23,000, but it gives you regular updates. So I'm assuming there's a digital paper trail to show that this person that they chose not to pay attention to it, should there be a claim.
Yes. We don't want to freak people out either and turn it into something that they're like changing their policy on a daily basis. It's just a administrative nightmare for everybody. But yes, everything is completely digital. I
was just going to say, can they buy a rider or some kind of attachment to their policy that allows it to float?
Sort of. We do have an endorsement called Cryptoshield Plus that allows you to buy up to 50% appreciation of your crypto. So
in anticipation, and
it comes at a pretty healthy discount. That it's like up to 30%, I think 25 or 30% discount. So actually, we do kind of have that feature. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have that. So what happens if it's at 20,000? It drops down to 10,000.
Yep.
I might have missed that, but
yeah, we didn't even answer that yet. But no, great question. And it's similar to your home, the value cost of lumber going down. What we likely do in that event is just replace the Bitcoin. Instead of throwing salt in the wound and giving you $10,000 back instead of the 20,000 you were insured for, just replace you with your Bitcoin. And really, that's what people really care about. They want their Bitcoin or their Ethereum or whatever crypto that's their favorite, and we likely just make them whole.
And so by definition, they're not going to make a profit on it. It's just like a house, right? You might insure the house. You might have $1 million insurance policy. It only takes $900,000 to replace it. We're going to replace your house, but you can't make a profit.
Exactly. That's not the purpose of insurance. It's not a volatility. It's not a hedging. It's not to make a profit. It's to risk transfer, and that's what we do.
And so, what are the perils? Are the perils loss? Are the perils theft, ransom? I mean, can't somebody just lose their crypto? Can't they forget their password?
We don't insure that yet. As we build our book of business and get comfortable, because the reason why we don't do that yet is because there's a high. How do you underwrite negligence in a very nascent world?
Yeah,
right? You don't have the underwriting experience. Something that we'll get to. I think we'll get to it. But at this time, what we're doing is focused on risks that we are able to model and underwrite, which is centralized exchange custodian level risk. So thefts happening at the custodian exchange level, hacks happening at the exchange custodian level, compromises of computer or messaging systems that can result in social engineering that could request a user to direct their funds to an unknown wallet, rendering it inaccessible. That's also insured. But yes, it's really focused on things that you can't control. What we do help in a roundabout way is helping with hygiene of our insureds and kind of giving them the best practices. It's one of the values that we how things to look out for, trends that are taking place, making sure certain features are activated within your exchange and custodian account, so you don't become, whether or not you're made whole, doesn't make the fact that you lost your crypto any more or any less annoying, right? That's the reality. It does. You do lose sleep over it. It gives you anxiety and heartburn, and honestly, we're here to kind of help with that blind spot.
Loss mitigation.
Precisely.
Just a basic
loss control,
fundamental insurance concept.
That's it. That's it.
Which is why I think that's why it's, you're an insurance guy.
Yep.
And that's something that you bring to this equation, right? Is here's fundamentals that it doesn't matter what it is your insurance, these fundamentals apply.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And then that's why like reinsurers and insurance companies and traditional conferences that haven't really historically, leaned into innovation or crypto as a whole have kind of like invited us to speak on panels and speak at conferences. I got invited to speak at InsureTech Connect last year. Munich Re hosted a crypto panel and got to be on that. Last month,
great.
I was at InsureTech Insights speaking on a panel with some major insurance companies. Swiss Re was next to us to talk about insuring the uninsurable, right? Like, so It's really been fun being like a topic and having like a responsible approach that we've taken and not just throwing out buzzwords, and it's actual, there's actual meat, on the bone.
So I want to ask you about the journey of finding somebody to underwrite your risk. I mean, you're an MGA. You guys are currently an MGA. I've read how you're working towards becoming a carrier in your own right. But so you had to go out and you had to find somebody who said, yeah, you can use my paper for this, right? And I'm guessing it might not have been the first place you went, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that journey. Are they still with you today and how that's worked out?
Yeah, it was similar to, I kind of like started and stopped the fundraising journey, but it's hard. Like a lot, you just have to have a lot of these conversations and have the right thought process that like, it's not just going to be one meeting. It's not just going to be the first carrier that you talk to. It takes a while. And you're also, what I've come to accept is that you're never really going to be able to bring somebody along that hasn't somehow gotten there on their own as it relates to insuring such a dynamic new risk, because they have to sell it internally. And if I can be in every meeting, I could sell anybody. I genuinely believe that, because I think that we have that good of a product. I think we have that good of a company. I think we're working on the right problems and that are going to be really meaningful. But the reality is I can't be in every meeting, and there's, executive level discussions that take place that don't involve the actual MGA. So it's been hard and it took a while. And yes, our first program that we built was in partnership with Boost. They were great, particularly because when we met them, it was just Ian and myself. We're a 9-person team now, soon to be 10.
Right.
And there's only so many hats that Ian could wear. There's only so many hats that I could wear. So to bringing on, partnering with a company like Boost that had dedicated product people, had dedicated underwriting and actuarial folks that could take some of the great work that we did do, but make it actuarially sound and, bring, and put together and build on the underwriting guidelines, the underwriting appetite that we built was tremendous. So we had some relationships that we had been kind of like fostering. They had some relationships that they were building that they had as well, that we kind of like brought together to put together the program. But yeah, the overall structure of the program is still the same. We have like a fronting arrangement with an AM Best, A- rated fronting carrier, and then a Bermuda reinsurer, and they've been great partners. Honestly, the whole thing was complicated to put together, but we're grateful for it.
Well, there was no roadmap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you set sail not knowing where land was on the other side.
That's right. Yeah. We didn't know what path we were going to go. Something that we've been steadfast on from day one is that we knew that our story had to result in us retaining risk. It's really the risk, the space is too dynamic for a startup like us to have to go through that process. Every product that we want to work on will die as a company. It's just like truthfully what will end up happening if we don't end up navigating. We've done a lot that drives us toward that will support the MGA business that we're doing today. But the second half of this year, which we're in now technically, we'll be writing on our own balance sheet. We've been approved for an insurer license out of Bermuda. Today, we're able to write on a fully collateralized basis, and we're doing some experimentation, some sandbox activity, and very soon we'll be able to write on a levered basis. And then things get really interesting, and then it's talking about the conversation shifts to how we capitalize that insurance entity, and what markets we want to focus on. So I'm just super. I mean, the NAIC has been great. The Department of Insurers have been tremendous here. And Bermuda has been very, very forward thinking as it relates to crypto risks. Actually, I met them at an ITC in 2019, and one of the regulators set up a meeting with me. They're like, "You need to be in Bermuda. You need to we're creating regulation."
They wanted you.
They wanted it. And it was really interesting. And they're like, here's the laws and the policies that we're passing. We would love your thoughts on it. We would love to see how startups, particularly people like me who came from industry, how you see this regulation and what changes, evolution we should make to this. And it was just really cool. I had just never seen.
That's so cool.
It's just really neat. We do benefit from having some government strategists as advisors and investors of Breach. So I get to see some of the inner workings of how that works, i.e. lobbying, right? How that works, how, particularly with really, really regulated sectors like insurance. But I didn't think that would ever happen as a startup. We are too insignificant for that. But they're just so forward thinking as it relates to, they created the ILS market, right? So they see this as being the next frontier for them, and they're really investing in it. So it's really cool, and it's been fun to build along with them. And similar, we're getting our BSCR, our solvency, the Bermuda's solvency requirement. It's this beast of a document that demonstrates your ability to actually price and reserve. Wow. You got to have the requisite. You got to
be able to prove your stuff.
It can't be me working on it. Bottom line, right? It's got to be a licensed, accredited actuary, which we have now. We hired a guy named Jim Flynn from American National Insurance. He was their chief risk officer and chief actuary. He came over as our head of risk. A guy that's my age, the peak of his career. I actually met him through carrier discussions, and he and I just really hit it off. We're finishing each other's sentences, and he was just he pulled me aside afterwards with their head of innovation, and they were like, "This is awesome. We should be doing this. There's no way we're going to be able to get American National comfortable with this. Let's just keep talking, see where it goes." What I didn't know, what they knew, was American National was actually in the middle of a sale. They ended up selling to Brookfield Re, and through that, he was kind of this is a great opportunity. They wanted to keep him, make him a part of the divestiture of the acquisition. But he's I think my heart is going into this new world, because we hit it off on a personal level and we hit it off on a professional level. So long story short, he's getting the stamp of approval from Bermuda on our BSCR. And similarly, they're like, "Do you have any feedback for us?" And I'm just it's just so cool.
That is so neat,
because it just demonstrates the rigor that we're placing, the importance that we're placing on everything that we're doing. Being a startup is not an excuse to be reckless, and
right.
Plus, you're first to market.
Yeah,
right. I mean, yes. And I'm not making light by saying this at all, but who else are they going to talk to? I mean, you're in a great position, by virtue of your cunning and vision.
Yep.
Of saying, hey, here's something that we can get to early. Yeah. Which, is I'm sure a whole nother story about how you woke up one day and said, "You know what, I should be writing policies like this." But we only have so much time today. And I want to ask you a little bit more about your product.
Yep.
So it would seem to me, based on what I know about Bitcoin, which again isn't much, but that this is a direct consumer thing, but it's not, correct?
It's not. It is InsureTech, FinTech. It's a tough game. The CACs, the customer acquisition costs are tremendous. It's even though we're literally the only game in town, there is no other product like this. It does not exist. it's still very tough. Like there's a lot. What we've done with our product is double indexed on innovation, crypto innovation, crypto insurance, even more innovation. Like what is this? So
it's on one on top of the other. It's crazy.
It's a lot, and I would love, and it's not, and our team has done a masterful job of user experience. We spent a lot of time on getting the UX right. I encourage you guys to play with it. Because our product is also on surplus lines paper. It's not admitted. As one can appreciate, it is really tough to navigate the various disclosures, and we've done it in full compliance, and it works so well, and you never have to print a single document. It is awesome. I'm really proud of it. Still, there's a lot of education that's required. There's consultation that's required, and we actually believe that partnering with brokers,
the broker needs to be there to do that.
Need to be there, and it's a great extension for them. They've been coming to us. We kind of had the inflection point, someone early in our journey, as brokers kept coming to us like, hey, like, are you going to be distributing? And initially we're like, no, this is we're spending all this money on this platform and this awesome UX. Like, no, why would we do it? We're like, man, you know what? Like, these are my friends. Like, I actually know a lot of these agencies. I'm like, we've been distributing products through agencies and brokers. The entire time that I was at Liberty, I was like, man, it could be a pretty cool way to partner. And then NFP came to us and Levitt came to us. And we're like, this is kind of, there's some national attention that this is getting. There's some national potential here. We should do this. And we've really doubled down to the point where we're trying to push everyone to agents and brokers, because I think that is the way that this scales.
That's smart.
And it's a great collaboration opportunity. It's good for the industry as well. So
has anybody actually filed a claim yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You gotta like that.
Yeah. You need it. You have to have it. Otherwise, what the hell is the utility, right? Utility of insurance are claims. Otherwise, I can shout from the rooftops of every building that, hey, I'm helpful to my insureds and helping them be smarter, have better hygiene, but like no one cares. Like until you pay claims, there is no utility in the insurance. So we expect it. I think we've underwritten it really well. I think our overall profitability is going to be great. But I think when there are claims, I think that's going to be a real proof point for the value that we bring. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
When someone does file a claim, what does the investigation look like? What is that is it simple? Can it be paid quickly, or do you have to do a bunch of investigation? We do expect there to be a handful of, some percentage of claims that are just, it's a fully digital experience. So if it's not a covered instance, it's like automatically rejected. And done. And it's just like, nobody has to waste their time. The insured doesn't have to feel like, and if they need more clarifying on what's insured, what's not, we're here for that. But in terms of investigation, it really depends on what took place, right? If there is a hack, there's a couple of things that we look for. There will be an on-chain transaction where you see funds, outflow of funds from a custodian or exchange's wallet. It's public. It's really interesting because it's what makes it. You guys asked a question earlier. Is like, what is crypto? And it's basically like decentralized, transparent infrastructure that's been built. It could be financial services. It could be for art. It could be for legal contracts. It could be for United Airline miles, right? Like that to me, I like when I get the question like, what is crypto? I don't believe in it, and my response to that is typically, guess what? You use it today. You just don't know. It just hasn't been marketed as crypto, right? Like, what do you you spend money on your credit card because of that? There's an affinity relationship between you and your bank / credit card company, and they reward you with what? Points. Yeah. Right? Yeah. What are those? Are those Chuck E. Cheese points as well? No, they get to be redeemed into dollars or airline miles or a flight or a hotel. That's basically crypto. It's utilizing something and then getting rewards for it, and that reward people say has value.
who am I? I'm not saying it. It's other people who want that reward in exchange for something else, right? So in this world, basketball cards are worth money, right? Shoes are worth money. Who are we to say that this utility of this technology isn't worth something? So I wanted to squeeze that in there because I think it's
thank you.
You're welcome.
That's fascinating. And you know what I think we're going to do, if you're okay with this, Eyhab? We're going to have you back. Would you come back for a second episode? We don't usually do this, but would you come back for a second episode to talk about crypto, the world of crypto, everything to do with crypto, answer our questions about crypto, and I'm sure while you're doing that, answer questions for a lot of people that listen to us.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that.
Okay, so let's do that. We'll have Alicia, our intrepid producer, set that up. But first, we have to thank you for today. This is so interesting. I mean, we try to keep these things shorter. We went a little long today. Thank you for being patient with us, because what a cool thing you're doing. Congratulations, and thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate that.
I can't get over what an interesting ride this guy is on, right? I mean,
I agree.
Wow. What'd you think of that? What'd you think of that?
I thought it was great. I love this guy's personality, and he sees this new thing that he's creating, and that is what excites him, right? Creating jobs that didn't exist.
Right.
Yeah, this insurance
Cool.
thing, really cool.
Very cool. And to be the only one out there, I can't believe that will last, right?
I wouldn't think.
It's impossible. It's impossible. I mean, crypto, no matter what you have to say or whatever your opinion, there's no denying where it's going.
Right. I mean, it's there. It's
there.
Yeah. It's not going to go away overnight.
Right. And taking care of it is kind of important. So we thank Eyhab a lot for being with us, and we can all look forward to the crypto episode coming up soon, starring Eyhab and maybe some others. And we thank you, as always, for being here. We thank Alicia Moss, even though she's slowly sinking in the popularity rankings at F&O InsureTech. And then there's Al. And but no matter what, there's two things that you all can count on. And that's Lee Boyd and me.
Rob Beller.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Lee?
We're here. It's on my calendar. We'll be here.
We're here. It's on our calendar. And we thank you for putting it on your calendar. And we look forward to next time when we say
goodbye, everybody.